Yeah. I like to send this one to my favorite girl. Mama, mama, mama. Oh, mama, mama, mama. Yeah.
Birth. A woman, after typically 40 weeks of growing a human life inside of a womb, delivers a live baby. This baby will then grow up to be your daughter or your son, and that is just amazing. On my women's health placement, I got the opportunity to see birth via C-section, and this was my first time seeing childbirth. I can honestly say this C-section was the most amazing, bloody, gruesome, breathtaking thing I've ever seen in my life. My expectations before going into the surgery were that the surgery was going to be carried out very gingerly and that the incisions made were going to be very precise. But the best way to describe it is that they cut the tummy open and then they ripped it apart. Now, my intentions aren't to scare any mothers out of getting a C-section. If a doctor is advising you to get a C-section, then you should follow the advice. The surgeons are competent, you're in good hands, and the procedure is relatively easy and safe. With this video, my aim is just to educate medical students and those curious to what a C-section is like from the surgeon's point of view. They swiftly made the first incision from one side of the tummy to the other, just above the pubic hairline, through the skin and fat. Then after that, the two surgeons on either side of the patient's tummy dug their hands inside the mother's tummy and with all their weight and strength pulled and ripped the tummy apart. I could hear the flesh ripping apart and the squelching and bubbling as the blood and organs were rubbing against each other. The inner contents of this mother was just displayed to us. It was just open. Yummy. Under the face mask and face shield I was wearing, my jaw hit the ground in sheer shock. What the hell was I watching? After shuffling the organs around, giving the surgeons a better view of the uterus, we battled with the fat, using strength and retractors to keep it out of the way, giving the surgeons a better view. Yes, I said we because I assisted in the C-section.
Yeah, of course.
These days I'll take any victory. The surgeons located the uterus and made the most important cut. The surgeon cut the womb open. Amniotic fluid gushed out the womb, followed by a newborn baby, Tommy, who I held in my hands and I kissed him, giving him the powers to earthbend. I'm kidding. The baby followed after the flood of amniotic fluid and blood. You can imagine at this point, after seeing the butchering of this mother's insides, the reshuffling of her organs, and having to battle with her fat, I was already just... The baby is out and is on the drapes that cover the mother. It's blue, which is normal, and it's covered in this cottage cheese-like substance. Some of the mother's clotted flesh is on my gown, and my gloves are oozed with amniotic fluid and blood. I get to pat the baby dry as well, and I do such a crap job of it. The surgeon encourages me to dry it off more confidently, but this is a patient's baby inside an operating theatre after a caesarean section. I am scared. The midwife takes the baby and the baby is examined. I watch the surgeon suture and stitch the mother's insides back up, which is the hard part and is further complicated by a uterine artery, which is a blood vessel that supplies the womb with blood. That starts bleeding. The surgeon has to quickly poke the bleeding artery to stop it from bleeding while she waits for a silver nitrate stick to be handed to her. Suction is needed to drain the blood, and finally, the bleeding has stopped. And her organs, like a set of books that were out of place, were picked up and reordered back to their shelves. Once the mother was stitched back up, which was done amazingly by the surgeons, they cleaned the blood and all the different fluids off her tummy, the iodine as well off her tummy, and redressed her. The mother was congratulated and then was moved back to the ward where she would meet her newborn baby girl. That was a C-section. Healthy mummy, healthy baby, the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, mama.
wanna scream so loud for you, cause I'm so proud of you, and let me tell you what I'm about to do. I know I
Funny story, so originally I thought this mother was having twins, so there would be 2 babies inside her womb. So after the baby came out and the surgeon started to stitch the womb back up, I was so close to asking the surgeon, wait a minute, is there not another baby inside of it?
I was 3 years old when you and I moved to the Shy. Late December, harsh winter gave me a cold. It fixed me up something that was good for my soul. Famous homemade chicken soup, can I have another bowl?